Welcome to the Church Sound Podcast, part of the Repurpose Network, where kingdom culture, real life, and technology intersect. I'm your host, Prentice Thompson. What we do? We talk to real people, pastors, leaders, engineers, tech people, manufacturers, worship leaders, all about church, technology, and provide solutions for a successful Sunday morning service. You ready? It's time to take a ride. Let's go. Yes. Welcome to another edition of the Church Sound Podcast. You know, you guys always applaud for me, even though I made it myself. You guys always applaud for me and make me feel so special. If you're riding in your car, honk your horn. If you are on the treadmill, keep your balance. I don't want you, to lose balance, lose focus. But we have a great show today. You know, every so often a lot of times we bring in manufacturers, and our title is Let's Talk Church with Bing. And today we have a great company and a great guest. So I want to talk about experiencing technology on a couple of different levels before I bring my guest in. So the first way we experience technology is as an end user. We all experience product. I'm pretty sure everyone has a television or a lamp, or you're end user. You're the end user of it, and we're the end user. But it's different when you're an end user of products that you use creatively. So my guest, I know him on all four levels. So here are the four levels. I know him as an end user. I know him in the sales format, where we were selling technology that we use. I also know him within the manufacturing lane, where we talk about the manufacturing, work with manufacturers. And I know him from the development side, developing products for the end user. So with that being said, let's talk church with Saramonic, and welcome my guest, Joe Nassar, who is the USA Brand Manager. I hope I got it right. The USA Brand Manager. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, Prentice, it's great to join you. I was just thinking as you were giving that intro, we've known each other for like 20 years now.
Yeah.
Ever since Sam Ash, and
yeah,
on and on from there. That's wonderful.
Yeah. It's crazy. I was thinking about it and I was like, hold up. I've known Joe from every inception of my whole time within this market, within MI. You know what I mean? So welcome to the show. Really appreciate your time, man.
Thank you for having me.
I kind of want to start there, from how we met. I think you started at Sam Ash right when I was leaving. Was it?
You were the big dog there. You were the big dog in the keyboard department. You were running that, and you were one of the elders that I could. Well, not really. I think you're probably my same age, but you were one of the guys everybody looked to when they had a problem or when they needed something done, and of course when they needed a little bit of information. And you were there for about maybe 3 or 4 months, and then you went off to be a brand similar to what I'm doing, but on a different level.
Yeah, I started representing brands. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. The funny thing, that was the name everybody called me.
What's that?
So they called me the big dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They called me the big dog. So the funny thing, he was like 77. Those are Sam Ash, those are this means. He's like 77, big dog, you got a call on line 4. Yeah. And that's what everyone called me.
That place was wild for sure.
That place was wild, man. Listen, the managers alone, it could have been a sitcom. It really could. It really could have been a sitcom. God rest the dead. Daniel alone, that could have been a sitcom.
Daniel was our manager, and there was a couple of guys that were pretty creative. We'd have a little bit of off time, and then one of the guys was creating a Sam Ash movie and casting the movie. I think for me they chose John Travolta, and for Daniel because he had the ins and outs, and he was cool, and then he would be crazy, and then he was cool. I thought Christopher Walken would have been a perfect match for him.
Oh gosh, that dude. The crazy thing is like when I remember the day I became a rep, the day I became a rep and I had to visit 48th Street. And I remember the day I was leaving. The day I was leaving, I think someone called the office. Someone called the office and said, and talked to Daniel and said, "Do you know that Prentice Thompson is leaving?" And he said, "I don't care. I don't care if he leaves.
It's his life."
I have so many stories. This one story I got to tell. Were you there when someone ripped the store off? And
Which time?
Oh, okay. So this time was the guy. I don't know how they I don't know how they did this, but they had all the equipment in the car. And Daniel ran out the store and chased the car all the way to 6th Avenue.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh gosh. This dude is hanging on to the car, running down. Oh, it was a movie.
Yeah,
it was a movie.
Yeah, that place was what I chased more than enough people out the door with gear, and then once I was like, "This is not really safe. Maybe I should." They're not paying me enough for this, so it was in the middle of Times Square. You had to be pretty smart about what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's just so sad to walk down 48th Street.
I haven't been there in a long time.
I know the time I went. I think Azel, our good friend Azel Brown, she showed me a picture of 48th Street, like how it is now. And I remember I was up on Rockefeller, and I said I should walk. I said I can't. I just can't. It would be too depressing because I literally spent my childhood cutting school, going to Sam Ash. Yeah. So all of us lived in those stores like dreaming.
For sure.
You would go there, you would see the equipment in magazines that you wish you had. Like you could actually touch it and play with it and
the history on that block. I'm really surprised they didn't make it a historical landmark. I mean,
yeah,
especially Manny's.
Especially Manny's.
Yeah.
Especially Manny's. Is if you never experienced being on 48th Street during those times, and you could run into every musician worth his salt on tour, off tour, in between albums, because the right track was right there. Everybody would be in the store.
Yeah, real super famous rock stars, rappers, musicians of all sorts would run in, grab something, and run out. And you'd get to some weird stories. I recall like one up and coming rapper. He was purchasing some stuff. Real nice guy. He was purchasing some stuff, and then he brought in the cash to pay, and it was all singed. And they're like, "Why is this money all like kind of singed?" And he's just like, "I put all my money in the oven, and I never cook." And one day my girlfriend started cooking, and I was like, "Oh no, my money!" And he runs in, and that's how it got all singed. But we took it anyway. That's the business,
Oh gosh, I remember. There's so many Sam Ash stories. I remember one time, he's taking used gear all the time. They bring it in and they call like the head person of that department to come check out the gear. Da. Yeah. So one day, this girl brought in like an MPC 3000. We all know how important that an MPC 3000, and they had stopped making them. So they were like rare. And I'm not going to say who it was. It starts with a C. Ends with an M. Mr. Michaels. He checked it out, and he lowballed her. And he's like, "I give you $300 for it." I give you $300 for it. And I know it was about like this dude must have cheated on her or something, and she brought his equipment down to sell it, to get rid of it. She said, "I don't care what you gave me for it." She paid. They gave her $300, and it was a I want to say it was a rack mount module and an MPC. It was, I came to like $550 or something. And then that later on that day, the guy came in looking like, did someone bring in an MP? And it was on display. It was checked out on display with a price on it and everything. Oh man. So
that must have been the early days before we had the 30-day holds and all that stuff going on.
Yes, this is before that. It was man, it was so crazy. Anyway, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm very good. It's it's really busy for Saramonic and for microphones in general. Obviously, people are creating in all sorts of different places, and obviously with churches, there's so much going on in the church market, and we're expanding into that market, which is really cool because we're going to visit some of these trade shows and dealers that really focus on the worship market. It's a huge segment, and finally we have some stuff to really offer, and we're really proud of it, and we're really excited to show it to people.
The thing is, think about house of worship, and a lot of times people separate it, but it's really live performance. It's the same thing. It just happens once a week. It just happens on that same designated day, that Sunday. But church is expanded to the point where so much content creation going on for the other platforms that you have to have your content on, because after COVID, everyone realized that, you know what? It's more than just my local church, my local area. It's about the world and how I connect my message to the world, my church to the world. And I got to use the intercom system this past weekend.
That's awesome.
And people were, because you got to imagine, so those of you who work in churches, in the media departments, okay, you understand this. How many times have you had to text someone to do something? Don't say nothing. Don't wave your hand. Don't lose your space. Don't crash. It's so bad. The RF is so bad now. I can be 15 feet away from my engineer that I have to get a message to. It would take him 3 minutes to get it. It's so much RF. So I was like, you know what? Come on. Here, put this on. I have mine on. My pro presenter person has their on. My person that's mixing the live stream has, and I'm able to talk to everybody, and everyone's able to talk to me. It made life so much simpler. So let's talk about this new intercom system now that I love.
Well, definitely there's something to unpack in what you said a moment ago about COVID and how churches started to realize that they needed to, present outward, not only to the parishioners and to the people that are members, but also for other people to experience the church, and also people from around the world to experience and, worship together. And that's really important. One thing also I think churches realized when COVID happened, it was like, how do we make this happen? How do we put it on Facebook? How do we live stream it? How do we get the one mic of the pastor? Or now we're adding more people in. How do we do this? And there were so many questions, and unfortunately, there weren't many products for it. We had a ton, which we really couldn't message as well as we might have done, because when the COVID happened, everything went crazy. You think nobody's going to be buying, but everybody was buying. It was almost trouble keeping up. But as COVID's over, or at least over for the most part, everybody's back at church. But there's still elderly folks that might not be able to make it every week, but still want to be involved. There's people that are traveling that are really, really devoted to the church, that really want to be involved. And there's still ways to bring this to them. And that's why it's so much an important thing. I mean, I definitely want to show you something on that realm a little later, but let's talk about the WeTalk. As you're mentioning, the WeTalk is our wireless intercom system. This is the dual ear headset, and this is the single ear headset. And these are they're available in multiple packages from 2 people to nine people. They operate on the 1.9 gigahertz frequency range, which is pretty open frequency range. It's not 2.4, so it's not really congested with people's cell phones and Wi-Fi routers for the most part. And it's not and it also has a bit more range because it is a little bit it's a little bit larger of a signal. These systems have I thought I copied the wrong data. 400 meters of range, which is pretty darn remarkable.
Yes.
And, I like to put them on my kids in my house, and they run around the house, like up and down the stairs. I'm in the top floor. They're in the basement, 2 floors down, and I can talk to them. They're outside running around. I mean, that's just for craziness. But when you're in a church environment, when you're in a worship environment, an event environment, these are great to have on the sound guys, to have the video guys. For instance, you might have a video team who has a director who's talking to multiple cameras. Okay. We need close up on that. Okay. The bride's coming out for events, any type of information they got to get back. It makes it so easy with an intercom system. And these are very affordable. They're also extremely comfortable. They have the swivel ear pads, and they're also very useful in many respects. And let me just show you one thing in particular. When you're talking with these, there's no belt pack. It's completely wireless. When you're talking with these, you can control the volume on the side as well as you can control the mute on the side. But many times when you have these in your head, you don't want to be fumbling for a button. You can just literally just flip up the boom arm, and you're good to go. You're muted. So for privacy, you can quickly mute it. When you're ready to talk again, bring it down. Not only that, if you like it on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, no problem. It's switchable. To have, pardon me, sorry about that. To have the mic on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, however you choose to do it, whether it's the dual ear headset or the single ear headset, works exactly the same. And pardon me, I thought I muted everything, but apparently my computer's not really listening there. It's got do not disturb on. I can't believe that. My apologies.
I got you clean.
Okay, cool. Well, I heard something. Okay, so but to go back to it, you have between 2 and 5 person headset systems with the WeTalk, and 2 to 5 person they have a master headset and as many headsets you need until you get a 5 person system. Once you go past the 5 person system, instead of the master headset, we have a belt pack hub, which actually can be a stationary hub on a table or a clip on your belt with the belt clip. And they also come with a headset, but this is a light band headset. This is for the master hub, whether it be a stationary or on the person, and this can handle up to 8 people. So it's really a 2-person to 8-person systems is how they're sold, but the system is expandable to 17 people with a second hub and a link cable in between them. So, if you have a large production group and you want to get 17 people or anywhere in between, we have something for you. All the systems also come with rugged hard cases, and these hard cases are, obviously you see my American Airlines tag on there because I take these things everywhere. These are custom hard cases with the insides are completely dedicated for your master headset, as well as your additional headsets, and of course your battery chargers and power supplies and batteries. These are watertight, as well as they are impact proof. I mean, even a big heavy guy like me can stand his 230-pound cell phone and have no problem with it. I mean, I use this actually to hang a sign at one of the last trade shows I was at. They're really rugged. I throw that under numerous planes, and it works out great. Each system comes with those, but of course you can expand it. So if you only have a 2-person need today, but you might expand to 3, 4, or even 17 people later, there's an expandable way to do it. And all that is available within the system.
So is it come on like one channel, or is it several channels?
On this system, it's only one system on one channel. There's not multiple channels, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. So what is it, a special cable to link the hubs together?
Yes. It is a specialized TRS cable, and it's called the link cable. We're releasing this next month, and this is about 100 feet long, so you can spread it out within the facility. And when we talk about range, I've actually taken these things outdoors and gone well over 900 feet outside before it started raining, and I had to run back in order not to get the headset and the other headset wet because my phone was playing something in the distance. And I've also gone through at B&H. I mean, you remember the training rooms well.
Oh, yes.
Multiple cinder block walls. I've gone through. The people were in the audio training room with the headsets on. I walked through out the door, down the stairs, and outside. Didn't get a cutout. And then one guy actually wanted to take a little further and went into the staircase and went up 3 levels before he got a cutout for the room. And we're talking about middle of Manhattan, multiple cinder block walls, steel staircases. The range is extraordinary. 400 meters, I believe that's about 1,300 feet, something like that. And I never went that far, but
yeah, the range I got when I used it, and in the church I was at, huge church, 2 sanctuaries, huge church, and I was outside of the sanctuary, near the second sanctuary, and my guys were able to talk. We were able to communicate. We had a huge Palm Sunday thing, and we had an orchestra in one room and a praise and worship band with it was amazing. It was a lot going on, a lot of RF going around, and we were able to communicate seamlessly. So yeah, great products. If you're a church and you're looking for something that's going to be cost effective at the same time and get the job done, communication is the key. Especially if you're working in church and you're doing church media, your church tech, communication is the key. Please get off your cell phones. I'm going to say this again. Please get off your cell phones, because I don't know how many times I've missed the text, and you've missed a text. Throw them on, leave them on, and the battery life is really good.
Rugged and comfortable as well, and that's really important when you're wearing them for long periods of time. One thing you might not have noticed is, or you probably noticed, is you don't really hear yourself talking when you're speaking, which is good for most people, especially directors and people who are organizing the whole event, because they don't want to be constantly having their tone in their ear the whole time. It's tiring, but they need to be able to be like, okay, Prentice, grab mic 2. It fell. Set up mic 4, and just keep on going. And the thing is about this as well is they're full duplex. Everyone can talk at the same time. There's no one person can talk back to the director, and the director can talk to everybody. I mean, you can have an argument on the system, 17 people arguing. Perfect.
Yeah. I had a bit of a different game. We nipped that in the bud because I'm the big dog always. So.
Well, Mark Wasserman. Mark
Yes.
Wasserman, who we also worked with at Sam Ash. He's a great dude. He's actually doing professional lighting for Nick Cannon's Wild 'N Out tour, as well as many other tours at Madison Square Garden and event centers all around the country. I gave him a system, and he went crazy for it. Since then, he's given it to all his teams. He bought an additional 2 6-person systems, and he loves it. And I'm so glad to have him on board as well, checking the system out. Also, you might remember Brian DeRees from,
yes.
He actually, now he's with another well-known brand, Saramonic. I'm going to miss him, going to miss seeing him at B&H, but he's an awesome guy. He actually, when I did training for those guys, he said, man, I wish I could have this for a show I'm doing this weekend. We're doing they were doing a music festival in the Bronx. And I was like, well, here, I'm going home tomorrow. I don't want to carry it. Take it with you and do that. And they ran an entire concert series, an entire concert festival in the Bronx with that system. And he was very impressed with it. And it made me very happy.
Yeah, the range is great. The people don't understand is like, yeah, it's great. It's great to have an intercom system, but if someone is 3 feet away from you and you can't hear them, they can't hear you. That is not an intercom system. That's a walkie-talkie. So it's a difference between a walkie-talkie and an intercom system.
Yeah, walkie-talkies are great, but you have to push to talk, and there's always that in your ear. Even on the new ones, there's still that little squelch, which can be really annoying, especially if you have it in an earpiece. That could be exceptionally tiring all day to constantly be getting that and constantly have to push the button on your neck. These allow you to move and be unencumbered and work hands-free all day long, which is what you need.
So let me ask you this: as far as we spoke a little earlier when it pertains to content creation and mobile content creation, or just content creation in general for these different platforms. I remember when the first Blink came out. I remember it came out alongside of another competitor, and I remember they were selling like fish grease. I remember they were, because I think one was the price, and then it was the actual sound of the units. So I see you have a newer system out. So what were the upgrades? So refresh the listeners, what is the Blink product?
Well, the Blink 500 was the original dual 2.4 gigahertz system. There was a major company that had one out that was selling really great. And when we came out, we had a single receiver and two transmitters, which is what most people would need. And in the content creation world, especially on cameras, if you were to have two receivers, then you need to get a mixer, then you need to get a mount, then you need to get all these accoutrements to make it work. We had a single receiver, and we had two transmitters. Not only that, I'm sorry if I'm looking around, I'm seeing if I could find one of the original transmitters. Yep, I have the original transmitters and one of the original receivers. Not only that, the transmitters, had lavalier included, and that was a huge upgrade because people could use them like a traditional wireless system. Clip a lavalier on them, be discreet rather than have a big thing notched on their collar like this. I mean, certainly in a pinch, you can do that. You can use it handheld. And that was one of the cool things about this. But the real revolutionary part of it, besides being dual, is we had these Lightning and USB-C receivers. That's the Lightning receiver, and allowed you to have a wireless system right to your phone, just like that. And that was huge. And we were the first people to do it. And I wish we patented it, but unfortunately now everyone's doing it. But that doesn't mean that we're resting on our laurels. We had the Blink 500 Pro, which was the first system to have a battery charging case, as well as the first system to have a line level input and a couple other features I don't even remember. But now we've updated even further to the Blink 500 Pro X. And the Blink 500 Pro X also has the charging case, as you can see. There's a couple key features about it that are pretty cool. You open the system up, and it automatically turns itself on. Might make a liar out of me because of the angle I have it on.
It's on. I see it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it didn't do it because of the angle, but it automatically turns itself on. We have, of course, the camera mountable system, as well as we have the lightning systems and the USB-C systems as well. So the transmitters are big upgrades in general. They have, of course, the internal microphone on them, and they include, of course, the lavalier, because I mean, most people, like I said, they do not want something clipped to their collar. They want to be discreet. They want to look like a professional. I currently have the Blink system on right now. Let me switch to it real fast. I have the Blink system on right now, and of course I have the lavalier mounted to me, but you wouldn't notice unless I pointed it out. If I had this clipped to my collar, you certainly would. A couple things about it that are big upgrades. Obviously, the transmitters are a bit smaller. They have line level input, which is extraordinarily powerful, allowing you to get the output of a mixer and go wirelessly to it, or like, for instance, out of a music player or a DJ at a wedding, however you want to do it. But the transmitters have an awesome sounding mic on there, but including the lavaliers allow you to do professional content creation, whether it be on your camera with the camera mountable receiver, or on your smartphone with the Lightning or USB-C receiver. So now I have a dual wireless system connected to my iPhone, and there's a couple cool things about this, especially when it comes to the church market. Obviously, you guys are creating content, you are making videos, whether you're interviewing people like sit-down interviews, or maybe you might want to do a like a coronation or something of that nature, and you just want to get one mic on the officiant, possibly interview some people. That's great. You can record it with your smartphone, record it with your camera. But really, when it comes to that thing that we mentioned a moment ago about live streaming and bringing the church experience to the viewer out and about. So say I have my smartphone, my iPhone here. I have this on a tripod in the center of the in the center of the aisle, or possibly even on the balcony. I can have the transmitter connected to the mixer in line mode, and I go out of the record output of the mixer and be transmitting that wirelessly to the receiver. This allows me to then just go right live stream to Facebook, record it to my phone, put it on YouTube streaming, put it on any streaming application you want, without having to spend like a huge amount of money on a massive system or run cables or do anything else. And you may say, I could easily just put a microphone on the officiant up front, and that'll get people when they walk to the podium. I could put this on the podium. Certainly, you can do that. But what this allows you to do is, I have a mixer. I'm actually going into my USB-C receiver on my computer just to show you, give you a little experience of what you can experience. So obviously I have my lavalier in this on my collar. So you have in any church, especially a large church, you have 10, 20, 30, 100 microphones going, because you have the officiant, you have the podium, you have multiple podiums, you have microphones on the altar, you have microphones on the choir, on the musicians. All that's going into a mixer. You already have a mix. Now imagine taking that with a simple transmitter and going wirelessly to a receiver on a smartphone and streaming that right to YouTube. This is possible. So if you can hear into the mixer, you can hear the officiant's lavalier. You can hear the microphone like above the choir here. You can hear the microphone right over here. Of course, the podcast microphone, any microphone that's connected, whether it be a condenser microphone like this, but also one of the most important parts is you can hear the music. And that's what people want when the choir is singing. They want to hear that. It's already mic'd up perfectly. That people are singing, the band's playing. You want to be able to capture that experience for your viewers. And this is a very easy way to do so by simply connecting it to the mixer, the record output of the mixer, and going wirelessly to your phone or your camera if you're using the camera mountable receiver. Of course, there's USB-C receivers as well as Lightning for iPhones and Android and whatever, even computers with USB-C. And we have a receiver, like I said a moment ago, camera mount right to your camera, mobile devices as well. So there's so many different ways to do that. And these systems are extremely affordable. 10-hour battery life on the transmitters. The charging cases can charge them 2.5 times for 35 to 45 hours of power on the go. And turn that music off. But you get the idea. It doesn't stop you from getting the entire experience of the church right in the smartphone. And it doesn't cost a fortune. I mean, you probably already have a mixer, even in the smallest of the churches. You have a mixer and multiple mics, even if you might have an old AKG from the 70s wireless. You want to hear that into the live stream. You don't want to have to mic up everybody separately. It's not convenient. You just turn it on and go. And the Blink 500 Pro with the Lightning or USB-C receivers, single transmitters go for $149. Dual transmitters go for $219 with 1 or 2 transmitters, as I mentioned before, and the camera mountable receivers are $169 or $249 accordingly for 1 or 2 transmitters. So it's a really cool little system and a really cool option, especially for churches and worship markets who really want to get something inexpensive and start streaming without having to worry about miking up 7 different things or running an audio feed down and people tripping over the wires. There's so many different cool ways to do it. And that's one thing I wanted to show you today.
So let me ask you this. So when, because I consult a lot of small churches, and this is something I would definitely like to take around to them. So, so does it come with a kit with the different types of receivers, or with both? Like, so say I wanted the Lightning or the USB, and then at the same time I want to be able to have another receiver to plug to the camera. Is it?
Yes. We don't have them like kits. They're kind of a la carte. For that type of scenario, what you would do is you'd buy the B2 system, which has the camera mountable receiver as well as 2 transmitters. And then you would buy the Lightning receiver and the USB-C receiver a la carte, and then you could pair them individually to it. These are $100 each. But tell you the truth, you could, these things are so inexpensive as the kits. The kits are $149 with a single transmitter and these receiver and the charging case. But there's so many different ways to do it. If you want to do it a la carte, if you want to buy multiple kits, we kept the price really low because we wanted to offer customers the ability to do great things with our products and really see what is so cool about Saramonic. When I came to when I was at B&H and I got offered the job at Saramonic, I saw them as I was like, oh, it's a Chinese company. It's kind of new to the market. I've seen it. I know it. And then I got offered the job. That was when I was working at B&H, not thinking about it. But when I got offered the job, I had to look a little deeper at the brand, because I needed to say, well, is this worth my work and my effort? And what I found in Saramonic is really innovative products, really innovative ideas, and of course, really affordable prices. And I was like, this is something I can work with. This is something I understand. Problem solvers that come in at a really great price, and they're also very eager to help the customer and please the customer, whether it be, whether our support in the U.S., our 2-year warranty, whatever we can do, we try our hardest to make the customer happy.
I remember, I remember when I was the trainer at B&H, and I think you were in, I want to say, merchandising, web merchandising, and I remember vividly. You gave me a call, like on my phone in the office. He was like, "Listen, don't tell nobody, but I'm out of here."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be calling you in a month for a training."
Yeah, I do remember that well. That was like such a great feeling, and to really paraphrase that story, and what I left, the most easy job on the planet. I listened to the radio all day long, 9 hours of radio a day. Sometimes I had to fake that I was working because there wasn't enough work to do. To one of the most challenging jobs I've ever had in my life. I mean, this is it, but I'm very happy that I did.
So let me ask you this: going from retail sales to merchandising to manufacturing is a leap. If those of you who haven't done it, what have you found to be probably the most challenging? What was the most unexpected thing that you found out?
The most unexpected thing is the cultural thing with dealing with the Chinese manufacturer, Chinese nationals. One thing that's pretty obvious is they're very hardworking, and they're really open to new ideas and talking and working together to make things happen. But the cultural differences in communication was very surprising. Obviously, there's so many other things when it comes to the manufacturing, the distribution side of things, which I'm managing in the U.S. It's very challenging, keeping up stock, especially with COVID. It was all about getting stuff in as quick as possible, and then suddenly you're stuck with 1,000 microphones. It's like, oh no, people stop buying that. It's a challenge, but it's also a good challenge. I woke up in a hotel room a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, man, this is hard work. And I was like, this is a great job, though. It's challenging every day. I'm meeting new people every day, and as frustrating as it can be, I probably wouldn't have it any other way.
I often tell people, when you work for a manufacturer, like you see the other side of the coin, because a lot of times, like, I'm pretty sure that the company, they you have dialogue about ideas about what products, because I remember when I worked for an event, and they were about to do an ad campaign, and they wanted to sell to the hip hop market. So they asked me, so they had all these ideas, and I was like, "That's not going to work." They said, "Why?" Cause I said, "Because I'm the person you want to talk to. Like, I'm him."
Yeah.
And they listened to me, and they and I went and got Grandmaster Flash. I got Green Lantern. I got all of these engineers to rep the product. I got it in Puff Studio. I got it in Wyclef Studio. But it all comes from relationships inside the culture.
Yep.
So when they realize that, then the next time they want to launch something, they ask me, or they would run people by me, because you know how it goes. People will call the manufacturer, say, "I'm this person, I'm that person. Can you send me this?" You know, and then I would be the checker. Nah, he's not real. No, he's not that producer. No, or yes. So I found it very interesting that me and you are able to have these conversations from the manufacturer side, because we really are on the pulse of technology.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because one of the reasons I sent you one of the systems is I need someone who's got their feet on the ground, whether it be in the worship market, like you, dealing with the church, obviously having the Church Sound podcast, but also Mark Wasserman on doing lighting out in the field. Brian Dury's doing events. It's just like I have the local football team. It's like I'm trying to get them to have a sex. I want them to use it on the side of the football field. I just want to get experienced people to be using the products, obviously for endorsements, or maybe like, hey, tell your friends, obviously, but also to get a feel for how it really works. Because if you saw my office, if I showed you my office, right to this side, I have about
I've
200
seen your office,
microphones.
and you have. I've seen it.
I have 200 microphones there. I have about 500 over there, and they're all over the floor. Like, I look like a crazy person. And but because I have to test all this stuff, and while it's super exciting, it's also sometimes I need to lean on others because they know more than I do. Just like when you said you need to bring people that are in the industry to get their feedback, and to get a real, or something real to bring to potential customers.
Right.
With the WeTalk system especially, I consider it a evergreen product with the slow burn. We're not going to have this massive push out there because that's just an enormous amount of money sometimes, and it just gets wasted. I want people to see it. I want people to put their hands on it. I want people to experience it, and really see what it can do, because it's very powerful and it's very comfortable. And there's so many different things about it that make it great. And same with the Blink 500 Pro X system. There's a million different wireless systems out there. Some have their features that exceed ours. Others are well behind us, but sometimes you have to fight with the names, and you have to fight with, the emperor wearing no clothing, as you very
Right.
well know.
Right.
But as long as you're passionate about the product, and you see its potential, I could say this is good because of this. Oh, you know what? You might want to lean to that product. I'm never going to lie to a customer, because coming from our last job where we didn't make commission, that's always very helpful. You can tell people exactly what you think, and
Yes.
that's the best way to go about it, because I don't want people to come back and say, hey, you were dishonest, or hey, I feel cheated. Never. I want that. I want them to be happy. One thing I want to show you is actually a new product. If you have a few seconds,
I do.
we have a new product called the Blink Me. It revolves around this dual receiver, which is camera mountable, and as you can see, it's got a magnetic base on the bottom there. It allows you to charge the transmitters on the top and the bottom. So this is the shoe mount. Put it on your camera shoe. It also comes with with a a smartphone mount, so you can put on your smartphone. Has a USB-C output as well as a 3.5 millimeter output. So go to your smartphone, your tablet, your computer, your camera, and even simultaneously go to all of them at the same time, which is cool because you can go USB-C output as well as analog output as well. But
Oh, wow.
the cool thing about this in particular is they have these really interesting touchscreen TFT display transmitters, which you mount on your chest using magnetic mounts. We have a couple of different magnetic mounts there. But one of the coolest thing about it is, here we go. Let me see, scroll down. I have zombie fingers, which don't really work that well on these touchscreens. But see, you can use your
Oh,
own logo.
wow.
So, for creators who want to like stand out a bit, they want to show their own logo.
Oh,
You can put
wow.
your own logo right on there. So this is great for branding, obviously for customers and creators who want to stand out. You can't see it just because where it's at, but having your logo on you, it really sets a different look to it, a different feel. The transmitters have a recording function on there. They have active noise canceling. So for beginning content creators and people who really want to make a big statement, whether it be like people doing podcasts, people doing content creation, even maybe for your podcast, when you're doing interviews out and about, you want to show people your logo right on there instead of
Hey,
put a
man.
T-shirt on them.
You already sold me.
Yeah, these are very cool. This is the Blink Me, and this we just released on the 15th of April, and we got stock in this week. So definitely check it out. We got some great videos on it, and the company is very excited about it. But standing out from the crowd, this is definitely something that could do. Normally, I have pictures of my two daughters on here, but I was like, let me.
Hey, listen. If you okay, so we just have a disclaimer out there for the people. If you're listening to this makes no sense. Please go to the YouTube channel and see this product. This is amazing. And I look amazing. So
Yeah, when we showed it at NAB, people were like, I was concerned about how people would react to it, because I was like, well, this is not really a professional product per se. It doesn't have a lavalier input, but creators and people were crazy for it, because they're like, wow, it actually it helps me brand. It was something new. It was something different. And, I'm really glad people are excited about it. And, I'm really excited about it as well.
Man.
One thing I mentioned a moment ago that I do want to touch upon when it comes to like little things that actually little problem solvers that people need for audio with it, getting audio into smartphones and things like that. I don't think any brand beats Saramonic, especially when it comes to something like this. This is the SREA2U, which is our USB-C interface, and SREA2D, which is our Lightning interface. These are $30. You plug it into your smartphone. There it is, connected to my iPhone. I have a microphone input. That's actually the headphone output, the microphone input, and a headphone output. So, say if I already have a wireless system in my church, or I already have a wireless system that I do interviews with, but I need a way to get it into my smartphone. These are a great way to do that. $30. You have a headphone output. You can monitor in real time if you have a good app that allows you to do so. You can also use plug-in power shotgun microphones like this, because any microphone that terminates at 3.5 millimeter, whether it be battery powered, plug-in powered, dynamic, or anything in between, except condenser mics with XLRs, can go into this, and it just gives you a lot of flexibility. So I already have a smartphone, I already have a lavalier with my wireless system, but I want to just do a quick video without bringing out my wireless system and all that. No problem. I grab my interface, I plug my mic in, and I'm off to the races.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So there's really, when it comes down to it, we have a lot of problem solvers, whether it be for creators, churches, and anyone in between. I mean, we really have a lot of things, and I really would like to invite your viewers and listeners, if they have any questions, if they want to talk about something in particular, if they have an audio problem that they're facing in their life, whether it be in the worship market, or just their kids making a YouTube video, and they need something to help them out, contact us at info@saramonicusa.com. Say, hey, I saw Joe on the Church Sound podcast. I want to send him a message, and he'll get right to me, and I'll answer it personally. I definitely want to help, and I definitely want to, any of your viewers and listeners who want to reach out and need help in any way, I'm happy to help.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs of all ages. I think you should be full. You should be full. You should be full. You're full of information. There will be tons of information in the show notes. Joe's contact information will be there as well. I just want to thank my good friend Joe Nassar. But before we get out of here, we have this thing called 30 seconds. Quick questions, quick fast questions. Yes, no, true, false. Are you ready, sir?
Sure.
Okay, question number 1. Favorite band as a teenager?
The Cure.
The Cure. Okay. Number 2, hockey, baseball, basketball.
Basketball.
What was your first instrument?
I don't know. Keyboards, maybe? Keyboards? Yeah.
When you were a kid, did you read the cereal box when you ate?
I just gobbled it down.
You just got. Okay, finish this sentence. The greatest guitar player is
John Frusciante.
John Frusciante.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs of all ages. And say like we always say it, keep God first in everything you do. And we see you next time on the Church Sound Podcast.